Being in Vegas and visiting a few thrift stores and also seeing how many thrift stores there are near the Strip got me thinking, would it be worth it to spend an entire day driving here, sourcing all day, and then driving back home in the same day? I started jotting some things down. Rental car versus no rental car, and considering the costs and the expenses. So with a rental car, I briefly looked up on budget if I were to get an SUV, but it's probably going to be $80 to $120, $30 for a car, $80 for gas roughly. Food, $20. I'll pack a lunch, but I'll probably eat dinner somewhere. If I go without a rental car, then it's only gas and food, so about $100. Of course, I'm not taking into consideration the sourcing cost. That's a separate cost that's built into it, into the business, right? So you source and then you take it out of what you made. The other cost is time and energy, but the drive round trip is roughly going to be about 5 hours, maybe a little more, depending on if there's any traffic or what day I would go, that sort of thing. It would make more sense to go on a day where less people are coming and going from Vegas. My goal would be to hit 200 items in the day. Now, if I could hit 10, 15 stores, I feel confident that I could get 200 items. I know in that Savers alone, I only got 9 items, but I hardly looked at anything. I bet you I could have got at least 30 to 40 items from there. At least, just from Savers. I'm pretty certain that if I were to go to a bunch of other stores, just considering the one that I went to at the end, in my second day of sourcing, if I would have been able to spend or go through all of the books, all of the CDs, all of the records, I could have gotten probably at least 20 to 30 items from there alone. So that's at least 50, 60 items just from 2 stores. I figure if I hit, 10 stores, that's ambitious. But if I were to, source for 8 to 10 hours, excluding lunch, I could probably hit the 200 items, maybe more, especially if I found a place that really had a lot of good stuff. You figure 200 items. So my ASP, or average sale price, last month in February was about $18 and change. So $18 minus Amazon fees, maybe around $11. $11 to $12 is what I would be getting per item based on last month, right? This month clearly be a little different, but I'm just below a 20 in general for a while now. So I figure if I get 200 items, sell them for about $11, $12 profit per item, averaged out, that's roughly $2,200 to $2,400 in profit minus my sourcing costs, right? So let's say $1 an item on average, that would be then about $2,000. Let's say about $2,000 to just be conservative. Minus the $100 for gas and food, so $1,900. That's pretty good for a day's work. So, and that kind of shows me also how big I could build the business and how quickly if I actually were to have the time to source like a maniac. But nonetheless, financially it makes sense, right? Can I do it? I don't know. With the family and with my current schedule, I'd have to plan ahead of time and figure it out. But I'm close enough to Vegas to where it's not so far that it would just be too much to do in one day. If I were to leave early in the morning, like 6 a.m., get here, I don't know, depending, between 8 and 9, and then start thrifting basically from 9 on when most thrift stores open, 9 or 10. Source until the afternoon, maybe 5, maybe 6, head back 7 or 8, get back home pretty late, but with a ton of stuff in the car. And that would be basically over probably like 2 weeks worth of work right there in one sourcing trip, one sourcing day. So it's just a matter of whether I can do it. And I was thinking also beyond that, what if I tried it once and it worked really well, I was able to get the 200 plus items, and I would commit to doing the 200 plus every time. So even to going once a month, it would make sense. 200 extra items a month in addition to what I normally do. It would, if I had more time, maybe I could go every 2 weeks. Maybe every week is a bit much, but at least once a month would be nice. So again, this is me just talking. I don't know if it's possible to do that. I haven't worked it out with the family and seen what can work and what would make sense. But if it could happen, if I could get the day completely to go to Vegas, source, and go back, financially, it would probably make sense. It would definitely make sense because I know I'm going to find some really valuable items, books, VHS tapes, records now. I'm dabbling in records. Had some good finds at this last thrift store, so I'm pretty excited about records as well. Tell me what you think. If you were close enough to a place like Vegas that had lots and lots of thrift stores and lots of potential for sourcing, you know, would you do it? Would you, if you could get the day to do it, would it make sense? Is it worth it energy-wise and time-wise to spend all that time an entire day? Well, it's up to everybody, right? But I think it would be fun and a good experiment. So I'll think about it. Let me know what you think, guys, in the comments. If that's something you would recommend or you would do, or you think I should try if I can do it. So we leave tomorrow morning pretty early. So this is basically the last day in Vegas, Saturday. Gonna be a little more relaxing today. Think outside the box. Come up with ways to source. If you have to go out of town sometime, spend a day, maybe it will work. You know, if it makes sense. As always, remember, keep booking.